Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Finally, we've done it. We've registered our first win of the season. 3-2 at home to Burnley. But typically, in United fashion, we did it the hard way. Having led twice, we then had to wait until the 90 plus 7th minute for our captain Bruno to step up and coolly slot home the winning penalty. That gives United their first 3 points, moves us up into 9th and sends us off into the international break with that winning feeling. Ruben Amorim's team selection didn't really raise that many eyebrows. The 11 he went for were Bindier, Euro, De Ligt, Shaw, Ahmad, Dalot, Casemiro, Bruno, Mbumu, Mount and Kuna. The only, obviously, one that's going to create some stir was that Kobbie Mainoo and Onana were demoted to the bench following the midweek disaster in Grimsby. The game started with Manchester United very much on the front foot, and within the first 14 minutes, Bryan Mbeumo had 2 chances to open the scoring after superb moves and passing from the likes of Mount, but unfortunately he couldn't convert those 2 chances. And then all hell broke loose, really. Mason Mount won the ball from that man Kyle Walker, ran into the area, and it seemed that Walker had actually impeded Mount. But the referee was, after giving a penalty, was advised to go to the monitor, and after a few minutes he decided that he'd made a mistake. And you would have thought then that United would have dropped their heads, but they didn't. They did not. They did what they didn't do last season. They continued to attack. And the attacking was relentless, spearheaded by the brilliant Matheus Cunha and the equally brilliant Bryan Mbeumo. They really have been a great addition to our attacking play. And with them in the side, we looked more fluent, we looked more threatening, and that threat paid off. In the 26th minute, United took the lead. There was a free kick on the left-hand side of the area that was floated in by Captain Bruno, and up rose Casemiro, headed the ball towards goal, only to see it hit the crossbar. Unfortunately for him, but fortunately for United, as it came off the crossbar, it hit a Burnley player on the head and went goalwards. The goalkeeper made a valiant effort to save it, but it had crossed the line. So there we go, 1-0 up. But we still hadn't scored for ourselves. We relied on them. And things looked great, and the ground was buzzing, the fans were behind the team. And then, bad news. The playmaker, Matheus Cunha, collapsed to the ground, holding his leg, and it was clear that he couldn't continue, and he had to leave the field, unfortunately, and he was replaced by Xerxes. Sincerely hope that it's not a serious injury. We do need him to recover over the international break coming up now, because of course we need him fit for the City match. And for the remaining part of the first half, we still created chances. Ahmad and Mount came close, but without Cunha, we were slightly different up front. We still had Bryan Mbeumo working hard, but Xerxes is not a Matheus Cunha. So we struggled there. We got through to half-time. How it was only 1-0 and how we hadn't converted any more chances, we don't know. But I think there was 15 attempts on goal from United and 1 from Burnley from the past academy graduate Hannibal, who got a warm welcome from the fans on his return to Old Trafford. And in the second half, it became a different game again. United took their foot off the pedal and shot themselves in the foot. because Burnley pulled level. They attacked down the left-hand side of United's defence, and Dalot went wandering somewhere. He was pulled into the centre more, and the ball came over, and there was the Burnley striker to tuck away his chance. 1-1. Again, making it more difficult for ourselves. But this time, United went on the attack, and after only 13 seconds of the restart, took the lead. Good approach played from the left by Xerxes and Dalot. Dalot put the ball over, and there was Bruno Fernandes to tuck away his second goal in 2 matches, and, more importantly, the first goal in the Premier League scored by a Manchester United player. However, even though we were now 2-1 up, the warning was there. Within 2 minutes of Mbeumo scoring, Burnley thought they'd equalised, only for VAR to rule the player offside. And what a close call that was. So United had had a warning. Then, a few minutes later, Bruno scorched in a strike from an Mbeumo corner that went just inches wide. But back came Burnley, and in the 66th minute, Burnley equalised. The ball came over, another defensive mix-up between the keepers and the defenders, and the ball was tucked away by one of the Burnley players to make it 2-2. And me, the fans, and I'm sure Ruben Amorim were thinking, oh my God, here we go again. And the pressure was on. Defender Mazraoui came back after a long absence with injury, and it was good to see him. He gave some strength to the defence for the last few minutes. But we were all thinking, what's going to go on? Who's going to grab the winner, if there is a winner in the match? Sesko missed a couple of headers just wide. Xerxes had a chance. But time was going fast. And it got to the 93rd minute, and Ahmad burst into the penalty area and clearly had his shirt tugged back. The referee didn't give anything at the time, but of course he was advised by his assistants in VAR to take another look on the monitor. So for the second time in the match, he went to the monitor, and after what seemed an age, he awarded United a penalty. After what seemed like a lifetime, Bruno eventually put the ball on the spot, took his customary few steps back, and then slotted home the penalty as if there was no pressure on his shoulders at all. It was interesting to see that Ruben Amorim had his eyes fixed the opposite way to the scoreboard end. He was fixated on the Stretford end, again proving that he just cannot watch penalties. The roof literally was taken off Old Trafford. The relief around the stadium, the relief on the players' faces, the way that Bruno celebrated with the fans, fantastic to see. And it reminds us of the old United, where they would play until the final whistle. But there's no getting away from the fact that we still have defensive frailties. We still lack that conviction of the defence. The problem now we have with Kuna being injured, as I said before, I hope it's not for a long period. But we won. We got the 3 points, and that was all that we needed. It will be interesting to see before the transfer window closes whether Maino gets his wish to move on a loan deal and we get other midfielders in, whether we get a goalkeeper to give us a little bit more confidence at the back. So my overall opinion about the match is, again, like the Arsenal match, like the Fulham match, we started so well, but we let ourselves be pulled back and to rely on a penalty in the 90 plus 7th minute. We should be killing teams off. It's that we're getting into the box, we're getting the chances now that we didn't have last year, but we're not getting over the line. And this is what we need to achieve. let's hope that we can get ourselves back together after the international break, because it's City next. So I'm pleased that we had the win. I'm pleased that we got the first 3 points of the season. I'm pleased that we're actually in the top 10 of the Premier League. But can we stop making me panic, and me and all the other fans of United? Let's start doing it the easy way. So now I'd like to give you my player ratings out of 10. Let's start with the goalkeeper, Bayındır, 5 out of 10. Couldn't do a lot with the first goal. Should have done better with the second goal. His distribution was better than it's been for a long time. Leny Yoro, 6 out of 10. Great talent. Still rate him very highly. Delete, 7 out of 10. Getting more commanding at the back with each game. Luke Shaw, 6 out of 10. Did enough overall. Ahmad, 8 out of 10. Had a good game today. A lot of running, a lot of attacking play, a lot of interchange with Bryan Mbeumo. Could have scored on a couple of occasions. Casemiro, 6 out of 10. Just did enough. Bruno Fernandes, I'm going to give him 9 out of 10. For taking that pressure penalty in the 90 plus 7th minute. What was going through his head, especially after the missed penalty against Fulham? He kept his cool, took it very coolly, and that's the reason I'm making him my man of the match. Diego Dalot, 6 out of 10. Was a bit unsure at times defensively, but was a creative force going forward. Mason Mount, 6 out of 10. Getting better. I'm not sure why he came off, but it was obviously tactically. Bryan Mbeumo, 8 out of 10. Would have been the man of the match had Bruno not been so cool with the penalty. And Kuna, 7 out of 10. Even though he was on the pitch for only 27 minutes or something. What a talent. And I really hope that he's not a long-term injury. Substitutes, Mainoo came on at half-time, 6 out of 10. Mazraoui reappeared after a long injury absence, 6 out of 10 also. Sesko, 6 out of 10. Had 2 chances with 2 headers. More time, more practice, and he will deliver. Xerxes, 5.5 out of 10. He's not Acuna, and not totally convinced that he is still a United player. Anyway, that's my post-match thoughts about the 3-2 win over Burnley today. I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you once again for being with me. Please subscribe and like, and I will see you on the next video.